The tea is this MVP. Oh my God. It was the talk. Like, you couldn't scroll on your timeline and not see a tweet about MVP. Welcome back to the Nasty Work Podcast with Coach Slaw and Nia Sr. This is episode 1, part 2, where we continue our kiki about the 2023 WNBA Awards with a focus on the MVP award and a quick discussion of the playoffs and the semifinals with a wrap-up with our predictions for the 2023 WNBA Finals. Enjoy the episode. You couldn't scroll on your timeline and not see a tweet about MVP. It was the discourse for weeks on weeks on weeks. You know what I mean? We was talking about it damn near 10 games in, like early discussions about who the potential MVP is. And to me, I feel like it was a clear two-way race. To me. And that's controversial because the media, the girls, everybody else has been saying it's a three-way race this whole time. To me, it was only a two-way race. If y'all don't know, the winner of Most Improved for the 2023 season,
Most Valuable,
Breanna Stewart, Most Valuable Player. You know, we need to say the whole name just so we can preface the discussion. The Most Valuable Player went to Breanna Stewart, Stu York, the first MVP ever for the Liberty franchise, which is, you know, should be noted, which is crazy. You know,
that's
especially
crazy.
them being an original franchise.
Knowing that franchise, that's crazy. But go ahead.
You know what I mean? And think about who's played for that franchise. Like, crazy name. That's so crazy that they don't have an MVP now until Breanna Stewart. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you go first because I feel so passionate about this award. Like, it had me so fired up. Like, I was, you know, some of these votes I was sick about. And this totally takes the cake.
Yeah, because just so y'all know, Nia and I talked about this like for an hour the other night.
To ad nauseum.
Yeah, to ad nauseum. Like, we went through it. We were going through it. Here's how I feel about this.
Are you trying to think of the politically correct answer or just say what you want to say?
I'm trying to figure out what the politically incorrect answer is, what the politically correct answer is, and where my voice is in between the two.
Okay.
Is Stewie the most valuable player to her team? Yes. Is Stewie a walking bucket? Yes. When looking at this from a perspective, this is a league, right?
League MVP.
And who is the most valuable player as far as being able to come in and out every single night and dominate on both ends consistently, give their team an edge to win when people don't expect them to. This year, the year of 2023, like
of our Lord,
the year of our Lord, that's Alyssa Thomas.
Speak on it.
So we're going to let a couple more buckets outshine true impact. That's where we're at.
Oh, you speaking to me. I'm in church.
I mean, 439 points when you don't shoot every other shot from the NBA three-point line.
Huh. Okay.
And 3 people setting you screens and you got a 6'8" wingspan is not the same impact.
Hallelujah.
As somebody who was able to record 439 points this season.
Don't say I'm too far off to me.
Triple-double on triple-double. How many triple-doubles was it?
We're at 7.
7?
After the playoff. Mm-hmm. This season.
In the season.
To be clear.
That's unheard of. That's a drive other people don't have. Stewie finished with 446 points. And some of that is because some nights Stewie's so hot. I mean, the beginning of the season, she had a 45-point game. She got a 40-piece just coming out like she was warming up. Like, I'm not knocking Breanna Stewart's game, but if it was really about game and impact, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because what this is about ballots and votes and who gets to vote for who. And the press are the ones who gets to vote for MVP. Not the fans, not me and I, not the coaches, not the players themselves, not social media. It's the press.
Media. Press.
And for some reason, here the press decided they weren't just going to vote for Breanna Stewart. They were going to vote against Alyssa Thomas and A'ja Wilson.
And that's the word.
In that order. And it's very obvious by some of the behavior that's shown in these 3rd, 4th, 5th, and onward votes on these ballots.
Like we said, the hateration is so real. And I'm so glad that you're harping on the press, because we've said it even just earlier in this episode, talking about narrative. And when you're the press, it's your job to tell stories. That's literally what you get paid for. And so when you've been crafting a story or a narrative or an idea all season long, from the very beginning, they're writing articles, they're doing interviews, about storytelling, even in the smallest facets, how they ask questions in pressers, anything. You want that narrative to turn out how you want it to. You know what I mean? Like, you want it to be a complete story, the ending that you had envisioned. And so that's why it's so problematic, in my opinion, that these awards are only voted on by the press, because they're creating a narrative and they can fulfill that prophecy at the end of the season based on their votes. And I feel like that's what happened this year. They're like, okay, Breanna Stewart is leaving Seattle, who she's been with, won championships with, still been Stewie, to come be the face of this franchise. It's supposed to be this big year, this big move. And we want her we want to show the impact that she's had in Liberty franchise, potentially bringing them their first championship, all of these things. And so by voting her MVP, it just put a bow on top of the car, put a ribbon on the story, on the narrative, in my opinion. And so that's exactly what it is. And so, as you guys can't tell by my reaction to when Sade was talking, my MVP this year is Alyssa Thomas as well. And that's not to knock, like you said, Stewie's game. She's a bucket. You know what I mean? She's going to be a Hall of Famer. I would never take that away from her.
I think, who was it? W reporter, Rice College women's basketball too. Cassandra Negley had said, it was clear who the three were, right? Like,
clear.
But the question was, is the MVP supposed to be the most valuable person to her team, the most talented and valuable player to the league, or the person who's coming in and out and being the best person on their team and doing things in the league no one has seen before, making history this year, making impact, is the story of this year.
That is what Alyssa Thomas did. If you did not watch Alyssa Thomas this year, if you did not see the thing that she done, we could talk about triple doubles all day. But the way that she impacts her team, the way that she makes that team run, she's literally on the floor almost 40 minutes a night. You know what I mean? Like, she's that important to them. We can't even take you off the game. You know what I mean? Like, to sit you means that we potentially lose this game. That's not Stewie. Stewie gets subbed out in the first quarter sometimes to sit, because we have so many other people on this team that can show up and fill in those minutes that's necessary. Alyssa Thomas doesn't get that. If that doesn't speak to impact, I don't know what is. And I want to go back to triple doubles. I know I said we could talk about it all day, but people really try and act like, oh, the triple doubles, there's triple doubles, that they're not that great. And she only had 7 of them. Let's be clear. The league only had, I believe, 3 triple doubles before this season. Alyssa Thomas was one of them, or 2 of them, something like that. Maybe they had 4. It was 4. It was Candace Parker, I believe, Cheryl Swoops, Sabrina, and Alyssa Thomas. So, don't quote me on my numbers. However, all I'm saying is we had a minimal amount of triple doubles before coming into this 2023 season. This season alone, in the regular season, she had 6 triple doubles. One of them back to back. You know what I mean? That's so hard to do, and was almost averaging a triple double. You know what I mean? It was like she was on triple double watch almost every game. It was like, okay, is she gonna get it tonight? No, she didn't get it. She's one assist short. I mean, this is, like you said, league record breaking. Like, nobody else can do what Alyssa Thomas can do. And we've never seen anybody do what she's doing. Like, literally in the record books, it's nothing like it. There's no stat line like it. She's the only one. And I'm so glad. I don't know if you guys saw. If you haven't, you should go watch her presser after the last semifinals game. And she speaks on this. And she's such a humble player. I feel like she gets so much hate from fans, from media, whatever, because they always say, like, oh, she's strong, she's this, whatever. But I feel like she's a very humble player. She rarely ever brags on herself. And she took the moment to talk about the records that she was breaking this year because she felt snubbed, as she should. The season that she had, we've never seen before, and we likely will never see again unless she does it, like she said. And so that's why I just feel like she was the MVP. Hands down, it wasn't even a toss-up in my mind. And I know we haven't talked about A'ja. We can talk about A'ja because I said at the beginning of this segment, I felt like it was a two-way race. To me, I felt like it was an A'ja and Alyssa Thomas race because A'ja has been balling out this season. You know what I mean? And A'ja is a bucket. We know who A'ja Wilson is. Like, she is the face of the league. And she still had one of her best seasons to date this season. You know what I mean? So that's not taking anything away from her. To me, personally, Stewie, bucket, like we said, balled out. But is she the most valuable person on her team? Maybe. I feel like some nights she's not, to me. I feel like we've seen stretches of games where other people have stepped up for Stewie when Stewie was off. And Alyssa Thomas can't have an off night, you know what I mean? She has an off night, they're not winning the game.
He damn near averaged over the season, averaged a triple-double. And this is why my beef is with the press, because to the naked eye, to the untrained eye, like, points are important. They're always going to be important. You got to score, right?
To win a game, yeah.
To win a game. No one's arguing that. But y'all are supposed to be the critics. There's 60 sports writers and broadcasters that vote for this award. And the league, in my opinion, needs to stop protecting them because they don't release the voting information.
Release the vote. Release the names.
They can do that in
and
every
their affiliation.
League. They can do that in every league. But you're talking about y'all are supposed to be the critics. Y'all are supposed to be the trained eyes. Y'all are supposed to be the insiders. And you didn't pick up what was happening here? Or is there a bias to wanting to sell a story that's going to sell? Because when it comes to marketability, right?
Oh,
we know Stewie.
Talk about it.
We know Stewie's going to be put up first on any billboard. A'ja Wilson, a close second, and first in some occasions.
Yeah.
And there's some people who are going to listen to this and learn about who Alyssa Thomas is today. And so we also know that the press is motivated by something different than just voting these days. What story is going to get clicks? Who's going to share it? But does that has nothing to do with play.
Nothing.
They're asking y'all to vote for who played the best in the whole league, the whole season.
Y'all chose someone who had many dry spells, many off nights.
Yeah, if you're a shooter, it's gonna be like that.
Right. It's gonna happen.
You knocked another player for doing something that's harder, which is playing unselfish team basketball. 9 rebounds a game, 7.9, almost 8 assists per game. So you're knocking her down in the votes for being less selfish, for making the right play. If you're the person getting 15 points and 7 assists per game on your team, I promise you that means like 60% of your team's offense is going through you in that league.
Yes.
So even if you didn't shoot the ball, you helped someone score it.
You put them in a position. You're a playmaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you said that because it just talks about another record-breaking thing. She had 9.7 rebounds. So she led the league in rebounding. Y'all don't know. And she led the league in total assists. Total assists and rebounds. That's never been done in the history of the league. Nobody has led both categories.
And people are like,
not the
oh,
MVP.
this is unprecedented. Da, 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 da. She was averaging damn near triple double last year. These dudes are not new to seeing this. This press, like, they're not new to seeing Alyssa Thomas do this. She was almost averaging a triple double last year too. Come on.
If they want the MVP award to be about scoring, it needs to be the best offensive player award. You know what I mean? Like, say that. Say what you mean. Like, words have meaning. But we're going to talk about, like you said, most.
Yeah, they could. They have a defensive player of the year. They have a defensive player of the year. They can have an offensive player of the year.
Right. And, okay. But even if we're talking about that, Breanna Stewart still doesn't win it. Who led the league in scoring this year? Jewell Loyd.
Jewell Loyd.
What I mean? So what are we talking about? I don't know. I'll have to go back, but I don't think Stewie was really first in too many categories. And Elizabeth was first in two of them, which has never been done before. So,
and this is the other reason why I feel like the press and doesn't check their bias, and the press didn't get it right here, and is looking for a story about a particular protagonist and not about what the numbers and the eye test and the impact actually display. Is they did this knowing damn well, I mean, it would have happened either way, but knowing damn well that Thomas was going to watch Stewie accept the MVP trophy at Barclays Center right before the game.
Right before the semifinals at that. Not just any game. The first game of the semifinals.
Yeah. They knew that.
That is so, it's just so diabolical. It's so petty. And, you know what I mean? Like, it's so calculated. But it also just goes to show even more, like, about the narrative. I know people on Twitter, they're like, why do we have to bring race into everything? Why do we have to bring identity into everything? Intersectionality is a thing. If you don't know what that word means, please look it up. Because, let's be clear, Stewie is a white, yes, she's queer, but a white queer woman. And she's pretty feminine presenting, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes her clothes can vary, but they're just clothes. But Alyssa Thomas, you know, she has all the three isms. She's black, she's a black woman, she's a black queer woman, and she's mask presenting. So, you know, I mean,
and which is easier somebody on her team, so it's very visible.
Very visible. She's engaged to DeWanna Bonner, if y'all don't know, who's her teammate. And which is an easier narrative, quote unquote, easier to sell. Breanna Stewart, a white woman. Yeah, she's queer, but it's not like this. She's not visibly queer presenting all the time. It's just, it's crazy. And they showed it when they made the announcement of the MVP on ESPN. They decided to put up a graphic, and with the race, they had Stewie smiling and the two other black women frowning. Like, you know, this stuff matters. People are like, oh, it's just a choice of picture. No, it's all plays into narrative. Like, I know. That's what I said. This, can't y'all tell? This award had me so fired up. It had me sick. Like, mostly because, like I said, I was a Sun fan this season. So I've watched every game. I've watched Alyssa Thomas play and what she does for that team night in and night out.
And as an Aces fan, I was going to let that live. I had planned. I didn't think A'ja was going to win. I thought Alyssa or Stewie were going to win. I didn't think they were going to give it to A'ja again.
I thought that there was hope for A'ja until they released that Defensive Player of the Year. Like I said, the schedule for this shit is so off, but they released the Defensive Player of the Year award, I believe, 2 weeks earlier than it was scheduled for. Mm-hmm. And that let me know right now that they were trying to pacify what they were going to do in naming Breanna Stewart the MVP. And so at that point, I knew A'ja didn't have it. But, you know, as the season was going on, to me personally, like I said, I thought it was a two-way race. I thought it was between A'ja and AT because of how they played this year. But when it comes to narrative, it makes sense that Stewie won.
And shout out to A'ja for being a dog, like coming out right after that, getting the 30-piece. Like it was nothing. A dog.
I know. Y'all are probably like, I'm tired of talking about AT, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll get off of it. A'ja is a dog. A'ja is that girl. If y'all don't know, me and Sade love A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson, I even get my mom to love A'ja Wilson. My mom literally came to me, she's like, oh, I'm buying an A'ja Wilson jersey. I'm getting me some J's to match. She's like, I want to go to the Aces game. Like, that's how much influence A'ja Wilson has. Like, my mom, she watches basketball here and there. You know, she's the one who kind of got me into watching women's basketball. But to just watch it this season and be like, oh no, A'ja's that girl. This is who I want to root for off a few games. You know what I mean? Like, she's clearly a dog, bucket, the face of the league. What more can I say? Like, A'ja Wilson is that girl. And not to knock AT in any type of way, but she'll get another MVP for sure. A'ja Wilson, she will be she's already a 2-time MVP of the league. I see 5, 6 in her future, you know what I mean? If it keeps going the way it's going, because she's just that much of a dog.
And whoever gave her that 4th place vote, you a bum.
And your mama's a bum. And your
Like,
daddy.
what are you on? What are you smoking, G? Like, that's crazy.
No,
crazy
for real. That is what we call that, Sade? Nasty work.
Nasty work.
Nasty work. A 4th place vote for A'ja Wilson?
She brushed her feet off. She brushed her shoulder off and said, okay, how's this for 4th place? And hit y'all with a 30-piece? Like,
and I feel like Asia's like, okay, y'all didn't give me league MVP. I'm coming for finals MVP. I dare them to not give it to her. I dare them to. Dawn Staley will be at their door. You know what I mean?
And Becky even said, like, I take some of the responsibility for this. I didn't play her in the 4th quarter when she had already did her job so well that we were up
20 points.
20 points. So why not rest her instead of letting her run it out? Because she did her job efficiently.
Yeah. All of this to say that in our next episode, like we said, Sade and I will be giving out our own awards. Hopefully, they will make you guys laugh more than be fired up. It's more LOLs, JK, less about being critical of people's games, narratives, all just funny games, stuff that we saw this year that we think should be awarded.
Yeah, we like everybody who shows love to the W, we trying to show y'all love back by acknowledging your, consistent passion on social media and what you see, because we know we see it too as fans, and we like wonder, why is this important? Why isn't this being raised? Why isn't this the platform of this issue being raised more than something else? And like, this is not the show for the critique all the time. This is the show for the key. So we're trying to keep shit light as well. Today we were about our business because it's awards time, it's playoffs time, it's finals time. It's finals.
It's real serious right now.
It's real serious.
Today is October 6th that we're recording this. So that means the first final game is a day away. It's on Sunday. And so, yeah, we had to get our business out the way first so we can get our play and get into the fun next episode. And so, speaking of playoffs, speaking of the finals, we got to talk about it. I know we should probably, how did we get here? How did we get to the finals that we're at? And so I think we should just start at the first playoffs. So it was the Aces playing Chicago Sky. And we should start with that because there's not much to say.
Keep going, Chicago. Much love to Khalid Copper.
You know what I mean? Y'all had a tough season, sisters. We saw that your coach left you high and dry, beloveds. And, we recognize that y'all had quite a few injuries. So we weren't expecting a shit from y'all this year, you know what I mean? Y'all did the best you could. What Mariah Carey said? I'm going to do the best I can with what I got. And that's what y'all did. So, clap to y'all.
And y'all need to go.
Okay. Hire Teaspoon. That's it.
Ooh. Okay.
Her name is in the conversation. Hire her. Y'all need her. We'll see y'all next season, 2024. Aces, they balled out. Like, y'all need to go watch some games. Wouldn't recommend it.
I just bet on the games. I didn't even watch them. And I'm the fan. That's crazy. That's nasty work.
I tuned in, tuned out, was doing other stuff. Had it in the background. It was a little background noise. So I saw a couple things.
I got my FanDuel checks. And I kept it going. I kept it pushing.
Because it was just that on that. So then, the other series I feel like were kind of interesting. The second least interesting series I feel like was the Dallas Wings versus the Atlanta Dream. Mm-hmm. I personally thought that the Atlanta Dream could pull a game out. And they almost did. And then they blew a 20-point lead. Real Atlanta Dream shit.
real Atlanta work.
You know
real
what I mean?
Atlanta team playoff type work. Like, traumatizing. It was giving me Patriots, Falcons, Super Bowl vibe.
It was, awful vibes. I literally bought a ticket to Game 3, just hoping that they would pull one out. And they didn't. That refund hit that account. So
they need a coach too. They coach bogus.
Yeah, Miss Tanisha Wright, sister. There's a thing called a timeout. When teams blow a 20-point lead, you call a timeout.
They didn't get there on their own. They didn't get there on their own.
Yeah. So the Dallas, they did their thing in that series. It was a sweep. So, like I said, not much to say. Now the other two, definitely more interesting. I would say that Connecticut and Minnesota, that's pretty interesting. Of course, Connecticut, they love to make things hard. You know, they love to make my nerves bad, run my pressure up. We're the only people to go to a Game 3. But that's credit to Minnesota. Shout out to Nafisa Collier again. She had a crazy season. And her and Kelly McBride single-handedly put them in the game. You know, put them in the running. They could potentially make it to the semifinals. That second game was kind of sickening to watch, not going to lie, as a Sun fan. Yeah, and I feel like they have a really good young team that they can build off of. Minnesota Lynx, if they keep their same core they have and add a few pieces, they could be real scary next year. So that's, that playoff was that. But the playoff game, the first round series was New York and Washington Mystics.
Indeed.
If y'all didn't watch that series, what were you doing? You missed out on excellent basketball, excellent storytelling, honestly, and just drama. Like, I felt like it was giving Real Housewives a little bit.
And I'm gonna knock the league real quick, because what were you doing? You were probably watching that sorry ass NFL couple first weeks. Ooh. I'm tired of the league not being mindful of when they schedule these games, man. You know the NFL's opening. You want to try to get these afternoon blocks on Sundays and Thursdays when you know people are not, that's not the forefront of the media outlets. Mine is not women's basketball, even though it's playoff time here, and it's just the beginning of the season there. Be mindful. Get better slots. Get better opportunities to showcase this type of basketball. I'm gonna leave it there because I'm starting to get teed up. But go ahead.
We're not gonna go in on them too much, but yeah, it just was giving me so much drama because these teams played each other in the last regular season game, and Washington hit a buzzer beater and won against New York Liberty at home, which is so hard to do. Barclays beat Rock.
It was a dagger. Who hit that?
Sykes,
yeah.
She did it. It was a fire. Like, I watched that clip so many times. Literally, like, make it a gift. Like, I can watch it over and over. It was nasty. Very much nasty work. Well, she was in the perfect place, perfect time. And so that was already crazy. So, like, you win the last regular season game against a team you're going to now play in the first round of playoffs at home, and you're going to play them there. And they play them, they lose the first game. And we're like, okay, you know what I mean? It's still a New York Liberty. Y'all just beat them the other day. You knew they were going to come out, punch you in your mouth. Like, they're still a Liberty. Let's not do too much. But game 2, Natasha Cloud set the scene. She set the scene. She said, "That's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna lay the groundwork for y'all. I'm going to give y'all real housewives carrying of the bone." You know what I mean? She was like, "I'm going to guard Sabrina Ionescu for 40 minutes tonight." She said, "I'm on her ass. Like, she not about to get up and go off tonight, like, point blank, period." And Natasha Cloud did just freaking that. Even though she was on Sabrina's ass, it was just how she played across the board that night. She had a career night, 33 points. She almost had a triple-double. I believe she had 9 assists.
Yeah.
Crazy. She was a dog. Like, definition of a dog that night. And that game was hella interesting. It went into overtime. Sabrina Ionescu had to make 2 free throws. Missed them. At the end of regulation, missed them. Then JJ catches it and gets fouled. Like, and she makes her free throws. If that's not, that's crazy. Like, it's like nail biting. It's on the edge of your seat. It was just so good. Then they got to overtime. They threw it away. It was real nasty at the end.
It was real.
But it was a series to watch.
That was probably was that my favorite? Yeah, that was my favorite series to watch, I think.
I think that was my favorite series for sure so far in the playoffs as well. It just was so, you just really didn't know. Like, if I had to pick anybody that could upset a team, I thought it was the Mystics. Because they're not a 7-seed team, you know? And without the injuries that they had this year, they're not a 7-seed team. So that was an amazing series to watch. And so in the next set, we had the Dallas Wings versus the Las Vegas Aces. And I'll just say this season, I thought Dallas.
I could think that whole series was chaos.
It was so chaotic. Like, I think a lot of people have been saying this, and I totally agree, that the nerves just got the best of the Dallas Wings. The first time they made it to the semifinals since the franchise, I think, left Detroit. So that was like 2008 when I was 10 again. So it just was due to a lack of experience, a little bit of nerves, I feel like, bad shot selection, you know, just rookie mistakes. I feel like
bad
the reason that
game one. Terrible, terrible shot selection.
My God.
I was like, Rika, what are you on? F my FanDuel up. I swear to God, if I wasn't scared, I'd fight you.
And they literally had to have a come to Jesus meeting with her in the huddle. It was like, girl, what are you doing? Stop just throwing the damn ball up. Please. Let's have some discernment.
Take a breath.
And Satu, I know, because she balled out, she had a amazing season, that playoff run. Oh my God, my sister. I don't know if what was going on. Maybe it was the nerves. Maybe, you know, she had just balled out so much that season that she couldn't do anything anymore. But
yeah,
it was rough.
Definitely showed growing pains in that series. They're a great team, solid coach, but they needed that experience. You know, they needed to go up against the creme de la creme to know, like, okay, we can hang, but until we polish up our consistency and our decision making and our transition defense, we're always going to get here. We're not going to have enough to carry through a series over and over again and get to the end where we want to be holding that trophy unless we clean that other stuff up.
And it was really promising, especially game 3. Like, seeing them at home, like, having their crowd behind them. It was a really close game. It came down to, like, the last shot. So I feel like it was a good showing.
You could tell, yeah, it was an excellent showing. You could tell they learned from what they were doing in the previous game. So they should have nothing to hang their heads about. They went up against, you know, the future WNBA champions for 2023. So,
you mean back-to-back champions?
Back-to-back. Excuse me.
I'm glad you said that because the Aces just showed why they're so good. Like,
why they're so annoying? Like, damn.
Why y'all this good? Like, dang.
We couldn't have one.
Nope. You know, sweep. You know, we're sweeping the whole thing. That's what they said. Give us the broom.
Please.
It was very much so that series was, like you said, it was decent. It was watchable. But I feel like the Connecticut New York series was just so much more intense. It was so me and Sade were texting y'all during game 4. My God, I was in shambles. Like, in
my heart. My heart.
I was like, Lord, don't have I need an ambulance because I'm about to have a heart attack. Like, it just was so close.
It made my nerves bad.
The whole thing, because the Connecticut Sun came out game 1, punched New York in their mouth. At home at that. So they got one on the road. So it was like, okay, we got one on the road. We feeling confident. We feeling good.
It Hayes with a 30-piece. Ugh.
In game 2. You know what I mean? And I feel like if Beck Allen doesn't get in foul trouble, game 2, they win that game too. You know what I mean? Like, it was that close. They could have easily had 2 games on the road in New York, which is so hard to do.
I love watching them play. I love watching Connecticut play because they play together.
Bro, please say that. That's why I I saw a clip on Twitter today of them just dancing or whatever, and I was like, oh wow, I missed them. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare that you like miss a team, but like because they were my team this season, I feel like so attached. And I'm like, I'm used to seeing y'all every 2-3 days on the court, seeing the tunnel fits, all of that. And I'm like, oh, I miss seeing y'all on the court. Like, they're very much a team, and they play their bench too. Like, I feel like they're one of the few teams in the league that play their bench because they really had no choice. You know what I mean?
No,
it was tough
they
shot.
really don't.
But yeah, I totally agree with that. I love watching them play. Team basketball, you never know who's going to go off. Anybody can be in double figures on their team. Yeah, so that series, but game 4, my God. It was crazy. It was insane. So New York comes to Mohegan. They get the first game. So they now won 2 games back to back. And it's like, okay, this is do or die. This is go home. Connecticut comes out. They had a rough game 3. You know what I mean? It was a lot of drama going on in the back. There was some fighting on the bench. It looked like frustration. And that happens on teams. Like, and I think that it was good to see, and I'm glad they kind of showed it on the narrative that they played in the background, because like women have emotions. Women can be upset. Women can be passionate about their game, what they're doing. And so I'm glad that kind of got showed. I just hate how people were acting like, oh my God, this shouldn't be happening. Like, well, this happens in the men's game all the freaking time. This happens in sports, period. This is your job. I care about it.
The playoffs, man. We cussing each other out. We love each other, but we cussing each other out, period.
Have y'all never had a sibling?
Y'all seen people yell before. Your mama yelled at you before. You seen a woman yell before.
Y'all don't have siblings? Like, I did definitely cuss my sister out. Probably wrong for doing that. And then we back, chilling that next day. They were the same day. It's just how it goes. So, so they had a rough game 3, came out game 4. They was like, we not going, blah, blah, blah. Punched New York in the mouth a little bit. But New York started swinging back. And when I mean New York, I mean Betnijah Laney. Please, This is not about death, but say her name. Talk about Betnijah Laney, because she is the anchor of the New York Liberty to me. She's just such a bucket. Like, she's a two-way player. Let's be clear. It's not that many of them in the league, but Betnijah Laney is one. And she is a dog. So don't ever play with her. She had 3 consecutive 20-point games in the playoffs. That's so hard. That's crazy. And shout out to JJ. She had double-double every game in the playoffs. That's crazy.
That's real wild. It's real wild.
Big dog shit.
And, yeah, Betnijah, I mean, if it wasn't for Stewie's buckets, Betnijah is that series MVP.
Like, that's what that would be my pick.
Even with points is within a couple. It's not that, like, she averaged like a 20-piece every game in that
every
series.
game. That's crazy.
Again, I don't see what every coach sees, but
true.
Watching the Liberty over the course of this playoff so far, Laney is trouble. Laney is trouble on both ends, as far as making it difficult for the other team. And I hope the Aces don't get so caught up in the hype that they're worried about where Saab is on the court all the time, and not paying attention to Betnijah Laney and what she's contributing day in, day out. I know they won't, because they've got the best coach in the league who's probably on their ass already. Like, Laney's trying to get a chip. I don't know what everybody else is doing on that team, but it's obvious to me that Laney's trying to get a chip.
No, I totally agree. Like, she said, "Oh no, I'm leaving here with something." I don't know what y'all trying to do, but I'm leaving here with something. But yeah,
their night Saab was just non-existent, really. A defensive liability, single-digit scoring.
Okay,
like, she's guardable. She's very guardable. Like, it's not impossible to know what she's going to do. She has very clear tendencies. She likes what she likes. She likes coming over that curl. She likes that drop step in the mid-range.
Yeah.
She don't like handling the ball too much.
Yeah. I feel like Sloot, she had decent games. But I don't feel like she, like you said, she just wasn't much of, in my opinion, of a factor. Maybe the stat sheet says differently, but from the eye test, I was like, okay, Sloot was doing her thing every once in a while, but that's just Sloot.
Sloot's Well, if you make a mistake defensively or you make a mistake in transition, SLU's going to take advantage. And sometimes those types of plays, on top of her ability to distribute the ball, sometimes those types of plays make all the difference in a game, like these games that were very close. That one or two very plays that maybe didn't get a highlight tape reel, but you know, you look back at the stat sheet and you're like, damn, how we let her get 10 points off of London and shit. Like, and how we let her get that steal, like those types of things. Sleuthy.
Yeah, crafty, very much sleuthy.
Crafty.
That is her game. And yeah, I totally agree. Especially because I don't feel like Connecticut's a team who turns over the ball that much. Sometimes they have bad nights and they really turn it over. But sometimes they barely turn the ball over. So having Sloop be able to make those steals, make those turnovers, get out in transition, like you said, yeah, I think can make a difference, especially I think the game is a one-possession game or a two-possession game. But I can't end talking about this series and not talk about Ty Harris. My God, she led the league in 3-point percent shooting, I think, this season. I'm pretty sure. And she hit the most clutch threes that Connecticut needed in Game 4. It was insane. I was screaming, yelling, hopping out of my bed. Like, I almost threw my laptop off the bed. Like, I was like, oh, my God. When she hit the first one, I was lit. The second one, it was over. I was like, nah. She said, we trying to win this game. And watching that game end, how that series ended, was just so anticlimactic. That whole game was nerve-wracking. Until the very last 2.7 seconds in the last play, and they didn't even get a shot up. Like, what?
Crazy.
Did you want to win? Like,
that was crazy work. I didn't understand it.
I was so perplexed. I was like, maybe you're tired. Maybe you want the season to be over. And then it's so okay. You know what I mean? You're done.
I don't know. The play just broke down.
Yeah, it was very confusing. But overall, super exciting series, super exciting basketball. And it just started up for the finals. And so we have the New York Liberty versus Las Vegas Aces. The prophecy has been fulfilled. The script, the two quote-unquote, the people say they're super teams. The players don't think they're super teams. But matchup starting on this Sunday in Las Vegas. What are our predictions? What are our thoughts?
All in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm going to just go ahead and say it out. Go out there. You know, some people, they like to try to line and play devil's advocate. I don't advocate for the devil. I want the Las Vegas Aces to go ahead and go back to back.
100%. 100%. I need that back to back. I need that back to back. Like I'm Drizzy. And all I will say, though, is the Aces need to win this game.
Yeah, I think if they don't win game one, no, you got to win at home.
You got to win at home. Or it's going to be a long road for you.
Okay, and they got Ashanti.
I know the point guards got them straight.
Sweet. Shout out Chelsea Gray. But yeah, they got Ashanti for the halftime show. I wish ESPN would play that.
Indeed. That's my hall pass.
Really?
No.
Great, baby. No, actually, have to show. Don't you tell your partner who's my bestie. No. Yeah, Shanti.
Nah, I'm just playing, baby. I'm just playing.
Right. If you hear this, hopefully you hear this. She's playing. But yeah, Aces got to win at home game one. Or what Ashanti said, they're going to be looking real foolish. So let's hope they're looking unfoolish. And yeah, I'm excited to see who it's going to be. I just hope that the games are actually games. You know what I mean? I feel like we've seen the New York Liberty Units play 11 times this season. I kind of didn't want them to be in the finals together because I'm trying to kind of see them play. But it is what it is. I just hope that they're actually good games, not blowouts like we've kind of seen in the past. Something close, within 10 points.
I don't have any doubt about that. I think that's exactly what it's going to be.
I don't know. I feel like I hope that's what it is. That's all I can say. I can hope, but I kind of don't really have many predictions, except for that Aces get the chip. I feel like that's that. But do you have any predictions? You feel like you have an X factor? Do you feel like somebody's going to go off? Do you feel like just any predictions you have about what's going to happen in this series?
They got to disrupt as many shots. They, being the Aces, have to disrupt as many shots and make as many difficult shots for the Liberty as they can. The Aces thrive off their defensive plays turning into offense. I think if they do that, they win this series. I think if they let Stewie and Sav get hot, if they slack on rebounds, because the offensive rebounds are going to be very important in this series because of possessions. I think if they just do some shit that they do sometimes, which is like, it's almost like, you know how you like daydream or doze off? It seems like they get into a portion of the game sometimes, an inertia where they're not running on all cylinders, like they're not executing sharply, they're not taking care of the ball exactly the way they should. They can't take those types of plays off.
Facts. I totally agree with that.
So that second unit is going to be important as well. When y'all come the fuck in, tighten up. I'm tired.
I'm tired, Grandpa.
I'm tired, Grandpa. Sydney Colson, if you get some minutes, tighten up, okay? Like, we don't have time for you to be goofy today. It's serious. It's real shit out here.
Okay.
Don't let the lights and cameras fool you. Nobody cares what y'all did last.
No, this is this year, 2023.
Kelsey, I need more out of you. More out of you. Period. That's just the facts. Your check says what it says for a reason. I don't know what happened after the All-Star break. I have an idea of what happened, but I don't know what happened.
Me and Trey have a theory. We're not going to tell y'all, but if it comes to fruition, we'll see. My sister could just be having some off games,
or it could be another injury or something like that. But the way she's moving out there is not the Kelsey Plum we know.
It's not. It's not Plum Dog. It's just KP.
Giving like Slumdog.
Yeah, Slumdog.
We need you to tighten up, everybody,
and quickly.
Tonight, you have tonight. Tighten up. Like, y'all had a little break. You swept the team. I hope you've been watching film, drinking water.
Okay.
Getting your athletic greens.
And detoxing, sober life.
Sunday is it. You have to win. You can't. It's not a maybe. It's not we're going to come back here and play another one at home. No, you better win both at home.
Both.
Don't let them steal the first one. Because once they start feeling themselves and they go back to New York, and I've been to Barclays this year, it's up in there.
Okay.
It's up in there. And the celebs are coming back from Fashion Week. They turning up. So, like, Jay-Z giving out floor seats like it's damn Christmas already.
And Beyonce's done with tour. She gotta show up
over there. You do not want to get in that arena knowing you down one. That's not the vibes. So tighten up. That's all I have to say. Y'all looked a little sloppy against the Wings. I'm not gonna hold you. It looked like talent beat hard work rather than hard work beat talent.
Oop. Come on, Coach Slaw.
Equally talented now. Y'all got to play. It's about execution at this point.
Well, that's it. Coach Slaw has spoken. Nia Senior, emphasis on the senior, has spoken. It's been a good kiki with y'all. We'll be back next episode. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know you enjoyed the show. We don't even hope. We know you enjoyed it. You had a laugh. You got educated. And next week, we're coming for the turn up. We're coming for the fun. We're going to talk our awards, a little unserious awards, a little funny, a little LOL JKs, and we're going to talk finals.
For the kids. Okay.
Something for the girls, something for the days, something for the gays, something for the people. You know what I mean? And that's that on that. And this was the Nasty Word Podcast. Keep it nasty.